Good evening, good evening. Can everyone hear me all right? Good evening, good evening, good evening. How's everyone doing? Oh. Can you hear me all right, Katie? Okay. How's everyone doing tonight? Do PLC sparks make good moolah? Yeah, in short. They're always in high demand, so yeah, they can make good money, especially if you work on your own. Good evening, everyone joining. We've just started. How are you doing tonight, T-Man? So really, I've just come on tonight just for an hour, really, just to have a play, show you, hiya Grant and Nick, show you Zelio Smart Relay programming. Rashid, thank you, mate. Really appreciate that. How are you doing tonight? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Yeah, anyway, so as I was saying, this is a Schneider Zelio Smart Relay. And this is the programming software that you're seeing. So I was just going to come on, just show you some stuff really. You're an automation engineer. Nice, Grant and Nick. What sort of industry do you work in? Is it like manufacturing or something? Good, not too bad. Nice to hear, T-Man. Welcome to everyone joining. I've just started, to be fair. I was just going to show you the Zelio Smart Relay software. So you can put it into, I've just super basic program, but you can put it into simulate, and then you can start turning inputs on, and you can see the logic in real time. And if not that one. Anyway, yeah. So if I turn on input I1, you can see I've just got an OR gate. There's nothing really to it. If I turn on I1, Q1, the output comes on. If I turn that off, it goes off. If I turn I3 on, the same again, Q1 goes on. Welcome to everyone joining. Thank you for liking the live. So, right, come out of simulation mode, and this is programming mode, where although you guys can't see it, I noticed on the live, you can't see the pop-ups, but as I'm hovering over these little boxes down here, I'm getting some pop-ups coming up, so I can pull in a timer. You guys can't see it though. Welcome to everyone joining. Thank you for liking the live. So let's bring a timer into it. And let's say if I1 comes on, goes through the timer into the OR gate and out to the output, and then we can set the timer. I don't know if you guys can see that. I don't think you can, but I'm going to set this timer to 3 seconds on delay. So if I put it back into simulation mode, set it to run, if I turn on input I1 now, you have to, it waits, in fact that's 3 milliseconds I think, like that. Yeah, 3 milliseconds. So that's a seconds, there we go. 3. Put it back to simulation mode. Can't see the left side fully. Which left side? Do you mean down here? You should be able to see down here, alright. Welcome to everyone just joining. Right, so let me get back to it then. If I now turn on input I1, it waits 3 seconds before it goes through. But if I turn on input I3, it goes straight through because we've got a timer on delay there. Slightly chopped off. Interesting. I wonder if that's just making it worse. I'm still getting used to all this live stuff. It's good for me. Maybe it's just UK, I'm not sure. Right, so that was a timer on delay. I haven't really got anything to show you too much, but I just wanted to show you the software because this is function block diagram, and it's really, really easy to program in function block diagram, especially for these Zelios. They've done it really well. Geezer Dad, thank you, mate. I hope you're doing well tonight. Low Kiwi, I study this in school. That's cool that you're teaching others. What a legend. Thank you, mate. I really appreciate that. So let's do something a little bit more complicated. What we can do. See, I'm just looking at a list of different functions that I can put in. In fact, let's just do some more and and ors. So let's change it up a bit. Let's bring in another input. So what we're going to do is, in order to get the output on, in fact, let's change the symbol on the output. So let's call it a fan. You see that now? So it's changed to a fan. Martin Tay, thank you for following, mate. Really appreciate that. And change these two to contacts. These are just icons. They don't really do anything. It's just visual. And let's make that one a relay. Not that it matters, but so if input I1 and I2 go into the timer, I3, let's bring in I4 as well. They can go to their own OR gate. In fact, let's make them go in an OR gate. Oh, that's XOR. Wrong one. Where's the NOR? There's the NOR. You can see how you can start to build up something a little bit more complicated. So the point of these smart relays is just to get away from discrete relays, timers, and doing logic hardwired. You put one of these in, you can basically change, you know, the program whenever you want. You can make it do all these different things. Does this Schneider Zelio relay have a real-time clock? Good question. I feel like it does. Let me just check. Because you set the time when you program it. Here we go, what's that? Yes, it does, mate, it does. Because this little block here, you can't see it, but this little block, I can set something to come on at a certain time of day, annually, monthly, depending on the week. So it does have a real-time clock, so you can do some scheduling and stuff like that. ASD, thank you for following the live, mate. There was someone else, I did see it pop up. Anyway, thank you, really appreciate that. How many inputs and outputs does it have? They vary. So this particular one has 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 inputs and 8 outputs. So it's got a few, you know, it's not too bad. I'll put it a bit closer, you'll be able to see it. It's got a little screen on the front. You can program that up. Goes up to Q8 and on the top IG. It's hard to focus. Can't really focus. Is there a way to link it to a real-time click to turn off lights when the sun sets? Yeah, I mean, you would just set the time, wouldn't you? Yeah, if that makes sense. You can set the time, but there's also this block here for setting sunrise. I'm not entirely sure how that works. I've never used it. I can maybe bring up the manual for it. You give it a longitude, a latitude, a time zone, and maybe it works out the sun from that. It must, yeah. It sounds like you can do all that sort of thing. Right, so let me get rid of that. What was I doing again? I was just making a bit more complicated logic, really. Sorry, what is this? It looks like croc clips that I used to use at school about 30 years ago. Croc clips. Is that did that change to Yenka? I think I used that when I was back in college. Is the software free to download? It is, mate. Yes, it is. G Banger, thank you, mate. Thank you for the follow. Really appreciate that. Thank you to everyone who's liking the live as well, by the way. So let's get this running. We're in simulation mode again now. So we've made it a little bit more complicated. I have no idea what it does because I'm just putting it together as I go. But in order to get the output Q1 on, which is already on, if you turn on I4 or I3, it will go off. In order to get it on, I1 and I2, so you can see here, this is an AND gate. You need 1 and 2 on. It goes through a timer. 3 seconds later, it gives an output. Thank you for the follow, AJ. I really appreciate that. And now the fan's running. But if I turn that one off, it goes off. And if I turn both I3 and I4 on, nothing changes. Turn them both off, comes on. So yeah, you can see how you can start to build together a little, you know, and OR gates, like digital circuits type thing. But you can do some other pretty clever stuff. So if I find this cam switch here, it's a shame you guys can't see what I'm seeing. I think I need to do one more live or something before I can actually record the screen rather than just record the application. So what shall I do here? Like make it a 5-position cam switch. Position 1, we have an output on 1. Position 2, 2. Position 3, output 3. Let's make 4 and 5 just only give output 4. And what I can do is sign that there. Is that the reverse? Yeah, I can go backwards. I'll show you I'll show you all what it does in a second. And then a reset. And then if I chuck in a load of outputs, just to show you how this works. Thank you to everyone who's liking. What's the name of the software? It's called Zelio Soft 2. If you search Schneider Zelio Soft, it should come up. Right, so let's change these to lamps now, just to show you roughly what's going to happen here a bit better. Let's make that red. Adam, thank you for the follow, mate. Really appreciate that. Let's just pick a relay for that one. So output 1, output 1 goes to Q1, output 2 goes to Q2, output 3 goes to Q3, and output 4 goes to Q4. You can move these wires so it makes it look a bit neater, however you want to do it. Right, so if I run that now, so what this is it's simulating a real cam switch. And the way on a cam switch you can set the, I forget what they're called, they're like little spinning discs. So it actuates the switch or it doesn't, depending on what position you're in. What's this all about, mate? This is basically, I'm just showing how to program a smart relay, roughly what the software looks like for a Schneider Zelio smart relay. It's called function block diagram, this particular language. Looks similar to Krausette Soft. Yeah, it does. I think Schneider and Krausette are either the same company or they were at one point, with the fact that the Schneider Zelio and the Krausette Millennium 3 are both almost identical, except from the fact the Schneider's got 90-degree corners and the Krausette's got rounded corners. I've programmed a Krausette Millennium 3 using the lead for a Schneider Zelio, so they're definitely identical. The software, it just looks slightly different. So if I start turning on I1, we're going to start stepping through the cam. I can keep going. I'm at the end now, so does it reset? Yes, it does. So there's position 1, position 2, position 3, position 4, position 5 I've set 4 again. So there's position 5. I can go backwards, back to 4, 3, 2, 1. Keep going up again, and 3 will reset it back to 1. So you can do some pretty cool sequencing stuff with that. Is it lifts? It's not, well, I mean, you maybe could use it for a lift, but it's just general smart relay. You could use a can switch in turbine blade to pitch the blades in and out of the wind. maybe you can, mate. Yeah, I've never really thought of that. It's not really something I've done. What about Siemens? Siemens have their own alternative to this called a Siemens logo. They're pretty good as well. Really like a logo. Hey, just got there. What are you talking about? So I'm just basically showing smart relays. A particular smart relay called a Schneider Zelio. Used in lots of sectors. We use in mechanical control panels. Yeah, I mean these Schneider Zelios are really good for low-end automation. Really, just giving you a little bit of intelligence to a fairly straightforward process. If you want to go really crazy, you can, but you're probably best off going to a proper PLC at that point. Mero85, thank you for the follow, mate. I love the logo. Yeah, me too, mate. The logo's really good. I don't have a logo. I've got about 7 of these Schneider Zelios. I've got a logo at work, but yeah, it's pretty good. Good stuff. Keep it up. Love jumping on and learning to something. Thank you, Cameron. I really appreciate that, mate. So that's a cam switch. Cam switches are great. They're good for sequencing. What else we got I can show you? There's some sequential function chart stuff. I don't really use this that much, so I wouldn't really be able to show you fully how it all works. But you can, it's more sequencing stuff. I prefer to just use the logic, but that's because I'm not really used to SFC. So you can start putting stuff together like that. Christ, I'm tired, can't spell. That's fine, mate. I can't speak, don't worry. This one here, it's called a Boolean. And what I can basically do is, I can't show you, so I'll skip over that one, just because when I double click on the block, another window pops up, but my screen recording isn't looking at that window. So anyway, what else we got that I can show you? I can show you so on the front of this smart relay, there is a little display, and you can actually program that display to show different status of things. Excuse me, give a counter, show you timers, that sort of thing. So I can show you a bit of that. I think it's this text one. Is it this text one? No, it wasn't. It was the other one. Display. Just a sec. And also, you can't see the little pop-ups as I hover over these. I'm getting loads of tiles popping up, and I can just drag and drop them tiles on. So what I've done there, I've brought in a high-speed counter when I really wanted a display. And if I set that display to show hello, let's set that, drag that onto there, and if I set that running, I can't show you, can I? This is the problem. So because it's not screen recording the display, so when you put it into simulate, it'll bring up a virtual display, and I can't show you that, unfortunately. The Boolean is decent. It is, yeah, it's pretty good. It's just, it basically avoids you having to put loads of AND and OR gates and that sort of thing down. I love these kind of things, but can't think of a use in my life. I use the ESP32 and Zigbee a lot though. That's half the problem. When you're wanting to learn something, it's always hard to think of a decent project, one that you can actually sink your teeth into, because if you're just messing around, you soon get bored and you don't really get anywhere with learning. So you always need to think of like a project or an idea or something to make it useful. I find that, yeah, I'm the same way. I didn't really have a plan for coming on tonight. I just thought I can probably show this. Let's go on for an hour or so. Double D, thank you for sharing a live. Really appreciate that. What else can we show? Let's show some analog stuff. So this Zelio has analogs there on the letters. So the inputs go, if I can show you, the inputs go I1 to I6 and then IB to IG. Well, the IB to IG are analog as well as digital, and it will accept a 0 to 10 volt input. So if I pull in an analog, no, incompatible types, must be on, yeah, B to G I said, didn't I? So I can do a bit of math with a constant. Let's just set that to 50. In fact, let's not make it that high because then it ends up overflowing. Let's just do it times 2. So I can pull that into that one, and I can times my analog input by a number. And then what else can I do? I can do a comparison. Let's pull that in. Let's compare that with the number. What number should we make? It's 200. Let's do that. Anything else I want to add while I'm here? Thank you to everyone who's liking the live. Thank you to everyone who's joined. I use a PLC to control my outdoor Christmas lights just because I can. Nice, that's a good project. I like that. Do you do the flashing and stuff like that as well? Maybe this is how I can get him to get the Christmas lights up then. Ah, oh, don't say that, Katie. Jesus, making me look bad. Right, so let me put that in simulation. Run. And let's set the analog value. Again, I don't think you can see. So I get a little dial up. I can move a little dial. You'll just have to imagine the dial. I can't show it yet. I think the next live I can. It said something like I can start doing display capture after one more live. So as I increase this analog input, you can see here I've got the number 42 on the input. That travels into this block, goes to the number 42. I times in that by 2 using this constant. So that never changes. That one that says num, it says 2 next to it, never changes. That's always the same, but I can alter the analog input. And then as you can see, out the back of the block, 31 times 2 is 62. That's going into the compare. And in fact, let me just go back into programming. Let's wire that to the green lamp. So if I run this now, start increasing that. Once the calculation that's doubling my analog input gets to above 200, it's going to turn the green light on. And the number 200 as well is a constant, it never changes. Right, so I increase it, it's 146, 160, 170, 182. All this time, the output of this compare is logical, zero, like low. It's not high, it's not true, it's false. As I keep increasing it, once I get over 200, never mind, I haven't set it up. I haven't set it to greater than, I set it to equal to. Right, there we go. Let me try that again. Keep going up, keep going up. Oh, went too far. 182, 192, 196, 208. So the minute it went over 200, the logic kicked in, it went to true. Yeah, and you can do all sorts of analog manipulation like that. Shout out to Dixon Myers, huge fan. No idea who that is, mate. No idea. When Halloween is finished, Christmas lights are fair game in our house. Nice. Saya Bonga, thank you for the follow even. Nice name. Nick V, thank you, mate. Really appreciate that. So yeah, analogs. You can do all sorts of analogs. What sort of sensors could... I mean, you can basically wire any sensor in here that's 0 to 10 volts or 0 to 5 volts. The actual resolution on the analogs, not brilliant on these. I think it's 8-bit, so it only goes up to 255. So if I max out the analog input, I'm putting in 9.9 volts basically. That's what this little dial that I've got is showing me. You can see you only get the number 255. So the resolution's not great. Jake, thank you for the follow, mate. Really appreciate that. Yeah, so it does a job though. This isn't a PLC. Never think this is a PLC, because it isn't. It's a very smart, well, it's called a smart relay. It's a bit of intelligence you can add to a project where you can get away from having 10 timers, a stack of relays, you know, and you're doing all hardwired logic. You're doing parallel contacts, series contacts, that sort of thing. Sorry, my throat's going. It gives you intelligence. It allows you to wire everything back to a central point, and you can just change the program as and when you need to. FB, yes, this is function block diagram. It also does ladder logic. I can show you that. I'll come back to the function block diagram. It does ladder logic. The ladder logic's alright. It's not the best. Name of the software is Zelio Soft 2 for Schneider Zelio smart relays. So it does do ladder. You can pull in some contacts and make that normally closed. I can then put it to a coil. Change that. That doesn't want to be that. That wants to be an M contact. That also doesn't want to be that. That wants to be I2. So really simple latch. No different to, you know, any other latch. You still probably can't see. No, you can't. So I'll just click on the contact. So if I close that contact, sets a latch, open it up, it stays closed, then I activate I2 and it opens up again. I built ARC architecture microprocessor in LogSim. I've used Logisim. I feel like I used that back in college. But that sounds like some real impressive stuff. It sounds like way more than I ever did. Where can I download this software? The Schneider website, Schneider Electric website, you can get this from, free of charge, doesn't cost a penny. The good thing about this software is you don't need the hardware. You always hear me say this in my videos all the time. If you want to learn something, it's best to go free because it can be really expensive in this industry. So this free software, you can download it, you can write programs, you can then simulate those programs the way I'm doing now. I'm not hooked up to this, you know, this has no supply to it. And you can play around, learn some logic, you know, try out new routines and stuff like that. Zan, thank you for follow, really appreciate that. Right, so anyway, I've showed you the ladder. There's not really too much you can do. You can add some timers. There's a timer contact. Let's put a timer coil in. I can just link them up there. Put an M2 in. So, you got to run it first. Open up I1. Ah, I didn't set the configuration, did I? So when you're using timers, you do need to set the timer to what you want it to do. You obviously, like I say, every time I double click on something, it bringing up a pop-up screen, and I can't show the pop-up screen because it just doesn't. TikTok just isn't reading it. So I can set that to, let's say, 5 seconds. Let's go back to simulation, put it into run, turn input I1 on. 5 seconds later, you should see this one close. There we go. So basic timers. The ladder's okay. The function block diagram's really good. I would always say, you know, I'm a ladder guy. Most of the time I write in ladder. But the function block diagram in a Zelio is just miles better. So let's go back to that then anyway. I just wanted to show you it. Select. Shameless, thank you for the follow. Really appreciate that, man. Are you familiar with all the Fanuc CNC controls? How do you edit ladder logic on them? I'm not familiar, I'm afraid. Yeah, I've never used them. You definitely should do some common communication issue videos, same IP range, etc. for the newbies. I've got a whole idea of to start with doing comms, and I want to start with Modbus because Modbus is super easy. I am planning to do all that. It's just time at the minute. So the reason, half of the reason I'm doing this live is because I just got a new PC 2 days ago, and I've got barely any software in it. I need to really sort out, get all the old software off my old computer, and put it all on this, and all my old programs and everything that I've been, you know, making videos on and stuff. It's all on my old computer, so I haven't really got much on this computer at the minute. Henser, thank you for following, mate. Cheers, I appreciate that. Leave it in DHCP, problem solved. Yeah, I mean, I don't think I've ever had anything anything ever work, and 9 times out of 10 I'll leave my laptop in DHCP, and then when I try and connect to something it doesn't work, and then I change it to static, then I maybe 2 days later try and hook in an Ethernet cable to communicate to the internet, and that doesn't work because I left it in static. It's a never ending issue. But what I did get, I haven't got it here so I can't show you, but a USB to Ethernet adapter. Those things are great because you just set the static IP on there, leave your laptop IP as DHCP, and then you only ever hook up to a PLC using your USB to Ethernet thing. It's like a game changer. Right, anyway, what was I doing? Function block diagram. Right, so I'll come back here. I wanted to show you this because I'm hoping you'll be able to see it. Let me just try it. This is something that's pretty neat that they've put in, and it because sometimes your programs get really complicated and they're hard to see what's going on. Let me just bring in a load of gates. I'm not really sure what, this isn't going to do anything of any use, but I just want to show you. Let's chuck that one on there, that one on there, separate them a bit. Let's put that one there. Like I say, this isn't going to do anything. I just wanted to show you using what do they call it? I'll tell you in a second. Let's just hook these up. Get that into there. Oh, need to put an output on. So what I can do is I can highlight all of this. So you see there's a few gates. It doesn't really show the full potential at this stage when there's not a massive amount there, but this whole page could be just full of gates and stuff. And I can right click macro, that's what they call it. And I can create a macro. You won't be able to see that because it's a pop-up, but I can create a macro now. Give it an identity, ABC or whatever, ASB. There we go. And what that basically did is it took all those gates and it packaged it into one block. And then that way you can clear up a whole lot of your program. And if you ever want to see what's inside, you double click. Again, you guys aren't going to see it, but if I double click that, I'll be able to open up the macro. Oh, in fact, you can see it. There we go. And you can see what inside that block was all these gates. Ali Reza, thank you for the follow. Mr. Nevermind, thank you for the follow. Have I missed something there? The engineer, thank you, mate. Really appreciate that for the treasure box. I'm sorry, I get so wrapped up in these things, I miss all this stuff. Duncan, thank you for the follow, mate. Really appreciate it. So yeah, that's macros. Macros are great because you can also put like a picture on them and stuff. I'm not sure if I haven't got any pictures on this computer. Like I say, I've only just got it 2 days ago. So Ali Musa, I think. Thank you for the follow, mate. I really appreciate that. What else do I want to show? PID. It's got a PID block. I've not really messed with this, to be fair, because this is quite new. I think they only brought this out maybe 2 or 3 years ago, and I've never really had the chance to, or the need to use it. But you can set this to be an analog PID, so it's taking in analog feedback, and you're setting analog set points and that sort of thing. Or it can be digital PWM, pulse width modulation. You can set up your KP, your TI, your TD, your T. You can have it so it's doing it up based on temperature. It's pretty good. Yeah, closed loop. You can, it's pretty basic. These things are smart relays. They're not PLCs. It's not going to do anything too crazy. But it's good to have. Like I say, it's a pretty new block. They never had that a few years back. Paulinho Electronics. I'm afraid I don't speak what I think is Spanish. I'm not sure what you said there, mate. What else? So you can get this particular one's an SR2. And what SR2 means is it's a compact PLC. That means it's non-expandable. I can't chuck any more expansion units on here. I've got a couple of SR3s where you can chuck on additional blocks. One of them being a Modbus TCP block or a Modbus RTU block. So I can use another PLC to communicate to this, and I can use this as like remote I/O. So I just wire all its inputs, all its outputs, then the other PLC can communicate to this and say, okay, I'm going to read all your inputs and I want you to set output Q1, Q3 and Q5. He said, can you back up the program? I mean, you can save the program. Is that what you mean? Can a backup be made of the Zelio PLC program? You can save it to Windows, like any other type of file. What brand is this PLC? It's not a PLC, it's a smart relay. It's not as good as a PLC. It's the next step up from hardwired logic, but it's a Schneider Zelio. Don't know if you can see that. There we go. SR2 B201BD. Like I say, this is the compact version. If you get an SR3, you can chuck expansion blocks on. But yeah, I can save this file to Windows and I can send it to someone on the other side of the world for them to put it in. The way you program these things is there's a little like, looks like a little door in the front. Now I don't know if I'll be able to get it out with just my nail. I've got a key here. Popped it out with a key. So out the front, you basically pull out that piece and you can put in a special programming lead. It is what's the word? It's basically a programming lead that's just made for these type of smart relays. It's not like an Ethernet or anything that's like open and you'll have one. You can also program it through the front screen as well if you program it in ladder. So you don't even need any software. You can program it all through the front, but it's a bit rubbish, I'll be honest. What is the procedure to make a backup of the program that has a password? You can password protect. I don't know if you was here earlier when I said it. Anytime a pop-up shows up on this software, TikTok's not recording it. So at the minute I'm looking at a pop-up, I can save, I can set a password in this thing and save the file and that sort of thing. You can do that. No jobs with that in the UK. I'm not sure what you mean by that. I've designed plenty of panels that use them. It's all for very low-end automation. It's nothing, you're not going to be, running like a power station on it or something like that. You can do something like basic conveyor controls. I've seen, I don't know if any of you know of, oh bro, mine's gone blank. Anyway, there's a YouTube channel, I forgot what they're called. Basically, they make conveyor belts, and they use these for their conveyor belts. Yeah, I can't remember the name of the channel. The only way to overwrite the software password on Zelio is to overwrite the program. I'm not sure. Yeah, I don't know. I've never tried it. We never set passwords on our stuff, to be fair. It's never that critical. Because, worst case scenario, because these things only have limited I/O and they're never really doing anything crazy. If someone really wanted to take over your control panel or whatever, they'll just replace it and program their own because it's never that critical, the stuff that you're doing. Alec, thank you for following, mate. I really appreciate that. Just checking I've not missed anything. No, we're all good. So let's carry on. We've done macros. We've done analogs. What else can we show? Obviously, I can't show you programming the screen because the way you do it is through the pop-up, which isn't showing right now. You can do a bit of scaling. I can show you some scaling with a gain block. Put an analog in. Put that into there. I can set up the scale, so again, let's put 5. Let's leave the offset at 0. Let's try that. Put it into simulation mode, set it to run, and you can see I'm basically, let's see if I can get it nice, set that to 10. I'm timesing the input value by 5, sorry. So I can set this to whatever I want. I've set it to 5. Anything, so earlier on I was showing the mathematics block, but in this, with the gain block, you can basically do it without any maths. You just say the gain is, it's a y equals mx plus c. That's how this works. And you're just setting y, you're setting, oh, you can see it there, a over, in fact you can't see that pop up. Gain equals a over bx plus c. And that's what that's doing. Link, I think. Good evening. How are you? What else can we show? See, there's not really too much that these things do, so there's not a huge amount to show, but I just want to show you how, if you're ever doing a project where you need a little bit of intelligence, you've got, a stack of relays, you've got a stack of timers, you want to get rid of all them and just combine it all into a programmable unit. That's what these things are for. They're really good. Yeah. I missed it earlier, but T1, thank you for the heart me. Len Stamo, thank you for the rose. Mr. Something, thank you for the rose and the heart me. Rashid Automation, thank you if you're still in here. Familiar with Niagara N4 framework? I'm not, mate. Yeah, I'm not sure what that is. What is that? Is that a type of DCS or something? Entando, thank you for the follow, mate. I really appreciate that. Right, so we've obviously got the standards. Let's bring them in. We've got some other funky timers and that sort of thing. Let's get rid of this gain. Let's get rid of this. So set reset. You could do it in your AND gates and OR gates and that sort of thing, or you've got a nice little block for it. The good thing about the function block diagram is a lot of the blocks just save you programming stuff. Let's just get rid of that timer for now. I mean, you can probably guess how this is going to work. Put the set on, it sets the block, the output goes true, and even if the input goes off, you set I2, that resets it, the output goes back off again. You can set it so it's reset dominant or it's set dominant. Building automation software, yeah, I'm not sure, mate. I don't really do like BMS type stuff. My sort of field's power generation. Hey, I'm fairly new apprentice electrical engineer. Just a quick question. Do logos do smart relays? So a logo is a smart relay. So Siemens logo is the equivalent of Schneider's Zelio. The logo is actually better. I would say if you're ever looking to get a smart relay or something like that, get a logo, because they've got communications on them. William, thank you for the like, mate. Follow, sorry. I'm getting tired. We're nearly 10 o'clock. Which software does Siemens logo use? That uses LogoSoft, it's called. I'm not 100% sure. I think you might have to pay some money for that. I could be wrong, but I think it's like 40 or 50 pounds, something like that. Ah, okay, I get you now. Yeah, so logos are pretty good. They're a pretty good smart relay. Are you Pakistani? I don't know what's up with your eyes, mate. I definitely don't look like it, do I? I'm not. I'm from England. Unless you're a pirate. I don't know what's going on. What is this all about? Yeah, so you also get Krauset Millennium 3s. They're very much similar to these. In fact, they're almost identical, I was on about earlier. Mitsubishi used to do one called an Alpha. They were a bit rubbish, I'll be honest. I'm a big Mitsubishi fan, but their smart relay was a bit trash. Who else does smart relays? Eaton, Easy 4. I hear they're good. I've never used one myself. IMO. I don't know if... I think IMO might just be a UK and French company. I'm not sure. OptaFinder. I've not used one, but is that not a full PLC? I could be wrong. I've never used one, but I hear some good things about them. Have you used one, the engineer? Have you used an Arduino Opta? Or Finder? Yeah, not Finder. Are there any licenses required for these? No licenses required for the Schneider Zelio, no. I think a license is required for Zelio Soft, for the Siemens Zelio, Zelio Soft, Logo Soft. For the Siemens logo, I think you do need a license. I could be wrong. If anyone knows that's not true, tell me. Yeah, you've used the hardware. It's okay. You're after the Cotis. So is there different versions? This, I mean, I hear a lot of things about them. I hear they're pretty good, but I've never used them. But I have heard that there's one with CodeSys and one without, I think. Is that right? What is the Arduino version and what's the Finder version, I guess? Or I don't know. You tell me, mate, because I'm not sure about them. I could probably do with looking into them, really. But it's not something I've ever seen in the field. So I don't know how popular they actually are. Right, so let's show you something else. And not. Thank you to everyone who's liking the live, by the way. I did have a plan in my head of what to do here. What was I going to do? I didn't show you NAND. Basically, although you get all these other logic blocks, using NANDs you can basically make any logic you want. A NAND gate's special in the fact that you can pretty much do whatever you want with it, depending on how you wire it. It's the same hardware. One programs with Arduino, IDE, PLC, etc. And the other one uses CodeSys, but the Arduino version is a bit buggy. Ah, good to know. Good to know. So when you say the Arduino IDE, is that just using like Arduino's version of C or whatever it is, C++? You're having to program PLCs using that? I don't think I'd like that, I'll be honest. CodeSys is good though. I like CodeSys. I always recommend people trying out CodeSys. I forgot what I was going to do. I did have an idea. Impulse relay. Let's put that on there. That's the reset. In fact, let's go for the set. Reset on there. Chuck another output on. If there's anything in particular you want to see, let me know and I'll see if I can show it. Sometimes the wires go a bit nuts on it. You know, the connections, they don't look very good. You have to sort them out yourself. Was literally coming in to ask if you'd ever live stream a class or something showing some very, very basic programming. Yeah, I mean, I'm not really showing how to program or anything like that at the minute. I'm just really showing the Zelio, but it's definitely something I could look into. I'm not a teacher though. That's the thing. I know stuff, but I'm not the best at explaining it, I think. Can you do stuff for lightning controls, or is there another program to use? Do you mean lighting controls or lightning controls? Yes, mate. So lighting controls, yeah? I mean, you could do lighting controls with this sort of stuff, no problem. You just bring all your light switches into here, and then you put in the program what you want, you know, what outputs you want to go on, what lights you want to come on, that sort of thing. What are we doing here? Not a lot, mate. Just showing off smart relays programming, really. Nothing crazy. What was I going to do? So, just really showing how that one. So the bottom one you can see is flashing on and off after every pulse. It's toggling from on to off, whereas the top one's just set only. And if I put the reset on, they both go off. Regardless of what state the bottom one was in, it's always going to go off. Regardless of what state the top one was in, it's going to go off. Ain't no way we ever. Ain't no way. Never thought I'd see a controls live on TikTok. Well, that's the thing. I'm tapping into a new market, mate. I'm seeing how popular it is, because there might be a reason for that. You know, people just might not be interested in it. What's typically used on domestic? No, this is used on all sorts. I've done plenty of industrial panels with it. Agitator panels for tanks. What else have I used? Used them on plenty of generator control panels, doing fuel control, fuel transfer and stuff like that. But you can use them on domestic. I think Schneider give a few examples in their manual of like automating greenhouses, automating garage doors, stuff like that. I'm a second-year apprentice who works on DALI stuff. Just the laptop bit is a bit of a headburn. Am I right in thinking DALI's like a BMS type thing? Could be wrong. I'm not sure. I'm getting an ABB Micro 850 trainer done so I can learn how to program. Nice, mate. I bet that costs a lot of money though. Do you get the license with that as well? Because the license, well, maybe 850s. Do they use connected component workbench, which I think is free? I'm not entirely sure. Have you ever used the Unitronic stuff? I haven't used it, but I am doing a project right at this minute where there's a Unitronics PLC on a hydro turbine, and we just got to give it commands and stuff, what kilowatt output to go to and that sort of thing, when to start, when to stop. Please, love the Schneider TSX. I've never used the TSX, mate. Yeah, never used one, unfortunately. No, DALI is lighting control. Yeah, I mean, I've never used DALI, mate. I'll be honest, I'm not sure what that is. I've heard of it though. I have definitely heard of it. The program is free. My job gave me a free. Oh, nice. Oh, that's how you've done well there, mate. Evening, by the way. Evening, David. How are you, mate? How's it going? What's your favourite brand of controller? Mine personally is Mitsubishi. Yeah, Mitsubishi FX5s for me are just a great controller. IQRs are brilliant as well. Take a bit more setting up, but they're really good. It's similar to BMS, use ICMs and networking to control and monitor fittings. I see. Nice, nice. And is DALI, so that's the software. Does it have hardware along with it as well then? Would you do an intro to programming on the Workbench software? I don't have the Workbench software at the minute. So I was explaining earlier, you might not have been here, but I got a new PC about 2 days ago. I've got barely any software on it at the minute. I just haven't had time to download it all. So I've got Mitsubishi software back on. I've got GXWorks 2 and 3, and I've got the Schneider Zelio soft. I haven't got any software for any of my M221s, M241s, or any of that. I've just not downloaded it yet. Is this the same as Arduino? It's not. No. Arduino have like an industrial controller now called an Opta. I'm not like I was saying this earlier on. I'm not sure how they work because I've not got one or used one. The engineer who I think is still in here, he's used them, but it's different to like a Arduino Uno and stuff like that. You know, they're basically clever toys, whereas these things are like industrial rated controllers basically. What stepper motor controllers do you use with PLCs? I don't work with stepper motors, mate, so I don't use any. I'm not, yeah, stepper motors aren't really a thing. So I work in power generation. I don't work in like manufacturing or anything like that. Solar Tech C, thank you for the follow, mate. Really appreciate that. The LCM is the hardware. The stuff I mostly use is a company called Helvar or Simtronic. Yeah, I mean it's obviously a massively different industry to what I work with because I just don't know stuff like that, to be fair. You can't know everything. Thank you to everyone who's liking, by the way. I mean, I'm basically coming to the end of what I was talking about now with this software. I just wanted to come on just for an hour, show you the software, show you how easy it is to program. Yeah, just maybe see if you're interested in getting one, because they're good to get into. They're very straightforward and easy to set up. There's not a lot to them. The function block diagram's great. I'm just chucking a load of inputs here. Unfortunately, none of you can see all these little pop-ups that I've got down here. Just the way TikTok is. What is the software? It's called Zelio Soft 2, mate. You can freely download it off the Schneider Electric website. Yeah, and we'll just start connecting stuff up. Put another output on. I don't know what I've done there. There we go, that's better. Put it in simulation. So the great thing about this is you write the programs, you can make it as basic or complicated as you like, you can put it into run, you don't need any hardware whatsoever, and you can just start turning inputs and outputs on as you like. Looks really basic. Doesn't it support CodeSys? No, it doesn't, mate. It is basic. It's basic for a reason. It's a smart relay. It's not a PLC. They're just a clever relay. Does I have an Optifinder kicking about? I'll drop you a loan of it. Sweet, mate. Yeah. Send me a message, mate. That's spot on. Thank you, mate. I really appreciate that. Wait, is this an IDE? It is. It is. It's a very basic IDE. It's basically showing you function block diagram. Looks like a Moxa. I mean, Moxa do all sorts of stuff. It's just a little smart relay. It's got a load of inputs on the top, a load of outputs on the bottom. These are relay outputs, but you can get transistor ones. And it's just to give you some basic intelligence on a project. Time delay, yeah, it has all time delays and that sort of thing on. I can put one of them on. Pull that in. It's got plenty of different timers. I can set that now to, let's make it, it's going to take 5 seconds for the output to come on, so there's a 5-second on delay, and let's set a 3-second off delay, so it will stay on for 3 seconds. And if I put that going to the output, put a simulator on, make it run, you see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, output comes on, and when I turn it off, it will stay on for 3 seconds because there's an off delay. 1, 2, 3, and goes off. What's it called? This is called Zelio Soft 2, mate. It's the programming software for a Schneider Zelio smart relay. Where do I get one? What's it called? I mean, you can get one of these from eBay, Schneider, RS Components, wherever you want. If it works like this, then it works like if this then that. It works like however you want. You can chuck in AND gates, OR gates. You can chuck in, I was showing earlier, cam switches, set resets, timers. It has analogs, so you can start doing some compares and some mathematics. Joe, thank you for the live, mate. Really appreciate. Thank you for the live. Thank you for the follow. I'm getting tired. My speech is starting to slur now. Disgusting. How much they want for a programming cable? You're right, mate. The programming cable is a bit crazy. Have a look on eBay though. eBay, you can pick one up fairly cheap. I think I actually bought this for £25 with a cable. Mike Tech, thank you for the follow, mate. Really appreciate it. Easy Does It, thank you for the follow. Is the software free? It is, mate. Yes, you don't need any license or anything like that. You can download the software. Like I was saying, you don't even need the hardware. You can put it all into Simulate, write your program, put it into Simulate. Agreed, it's not going to be that interesting because you don't actually get to see lamps coming on or relays energizing or motors coming on or whatever. But you get to practice programming, and that's really it's quite an important thing, you know. Gets you into it, increases your knowledge, betters your skills. Can you save a group control function to copy? What is going on here? Why am I saying inactivity? Anyway, forget all that. Altman, thank you for the follow, mate. Can you save a group control function to copy to another control unit? I mean, you just save this program. This program I've written, I can save that to Windows. It's a .z something file, can't remember, and you can re-put that into as many controllers as you want. Yeah, I picked one last week. Got a Millennium free with a HMI and cable, £30. That is good. Yeah, that is a bargain, mate. And with that Millennium Free cable, you'll be able to program one of these if you ever get one. Because I've done it the opposite way around. I've got the cable for the Zelio, and then at work, I think one of our customers bought a Millennium Free, but I didn't have the cable. I just thought I'd try it. And it worked. I was able to program a Millennium Free with the Zelio cable. Altman, thank you for sharing the live, mate. I really appreciate that. I'm going to start wrapping it up now because I was only commenting on for an hour or so. I don't know, how long have we been on now? An hour and 1 minute. So yeah, we're about there. It was just a quick one, just to show you a bit of programming. I'll probably be live again maybe tomorrow, possibly. I'll try and get some more softwares downloaded, and maybe we'll do the same thing in another software. I won't say a time yet. Maybe I'll do a video or something just to let everyone know what time. I've also got planned to, if it's of any interest to anyone, I've made a Discord. So similar, it's not the same as the ESK. It's more just for my channel, but it's the same sort of thing. If any of you are in the ESK, where you just talk about controls, talk about programming, get advice. So I'll announce all that at some point once I've got it sorted out. Flipper Zero works well for spam liking. I have no idea what that is, Danny Sav, but thank you, mate. I appreciate that. If you're spam liking, yeah, really appreciate that. You're always in my lives and never speak much, Danny Sav. It's good to see you again, mate. Thank you for showing up. Yeah, anyway, so I think I'll call it a night there, guys. I'll probably, like I say, I'll do a live tomorrow. If you're up for it, join tomorrow. We'll talk about something else. Thank you to everyone for showing up. This doesn't look like Xilinx. It's not Xilinx, mate. Xilinx isn't Xilinx for FPGAs. Tom Dollar, thank you for the follow. Cromshot, thank you for the follow. Really appreciate that. Anyway, I'm going to head out now, guys. Have a good rest of your evening, and see you tomorrow if you end up joining. And now I need to figure out how to turn off the live.